This time on SOS, we're talking about the greatest sports figure in Vegas history, plus what was the best sports moment of 2024. And later on, Mark Wahlberg joins the show. You don't want to miss it. SOS starts right now.
Make some noise. This is Sound Off Sports, sponsored by Sam and Ash.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to SOS. I'm Mike Davis, joined right now by my main man, James Edward Barrickman the Fourth. James, a lot going on. You were making fun of me in the back office today. You said I looked like I was dressed up to talk Quidditch.
Yeah,
from the
you
Harry
look like
Potter.
you're suiting up for Gryffindor. Take a look at the camera right now. You look like you're playing for Gryffindor.
Hufflepuff.
I don't know who Harry Potter. What team was he on? I'd never watched Harry Potter.
Me either. I haven't watched too many of them. But Hufflepuff is fun to say. So we're going to go with that one.
Okay,
but we asked everybody at home a few interesting questions this week. This time around, though, we're going to be kicking off the show asking everybody at home, who is the most important sports figure in Vegas history? We asked all the good people at home. We got a lot of different results, James, and you put together a beautiful graphic for us. But before we get into that, let's just right off the bat, let's hear what one person at home has to say.
Hey, Mike, huge fan of the show, brother. Just wanted to say, hands down, the best figure for Vegas sports of all time, Jerry Tarkanian. Can't beat Tark the Shark. What he did for the city, his legacy. He put UNLV basketball on the map, and we were the premier school because of him. Nobody else can do it. Have a good one, brother. See you.
All right, thank you to that great caller right there for giving us Jerry Tarkanian as the answer. And yes, we asked everybody, who is the most important, most influential, who would be at the top of the mountain when it comes to the most important sports figure in Vegas history. Tarkanian seems like the guy. Of course, coached the Runnin' Rebels to 4 Final Fours, 1 national championship, a true legend. We also got to say R.I.P., rest in peace, to Lois, Dr. Lois Tarkanian. So we wish her and her family all the best, and you're in our thoughts and prayers. But James, as we heard from that first caller, the Tarkanian, Tark the Shark sentiment, that's definitely where people's minds are at when we pose this question. Break down this chart for us.
So yeah, we asked everybody who's the most important Vegas sports figure of all time, and as you can see, it is overwhelmingly Jerry Tarkanian. 64% of our respondents said Jerry Tarkanian. And, I think that's, if you're putting together a list, a Mount Rushmore, as we did, of most influential, most important, impactful Vegas sports figures, if Jerry Tarkanian isn't at the top of that list, throw the whole list away. That's how I feel about it. Dana White, I like that at 15%. Andre Agassi, Vegas native, 9%. Marc-Andre Fleury, I'm shocked he wasn't a higher percentage here at 4%. Asia Wilson, 4%. Bill Foley, owner of the Golden Knights, at 2%.
Yeah, it's all interesting. It's an interesting breakdown there, but Tarkanian really deserves the top spot.
Any list like this, when you're talking Vegas sports figures, it's got to be Tarkanian.
Yeah,
number one.
He put Vegas sports on the map. He was the first really to bring a franchise, a sports team, to prominence here.
Yep.
The continual, a domination to a degree. So he has to really be that guy. But let's hear another voice from home and see what other people are saying.
I'm originally from South Central LA. I moved here in 2010. Jerry Tarkanian put Vegas on the map for sports, period.
Yeah, so I think that's where people's thought really is, and that's why it's 64%, because he put Vegas on the map when it comes to sport.
He's the godfather of sports in Las Vegas. It started with him. He, long before Dana White, in the UFC, long before the Golden Knights, long before the Aces and the Raiders, UNLV was the only show in town. And you ask any local here in Las Vegas, and they'll give you the breakdown on it. And I think anybody who's from here probably feels the same way. they'll give you the full discourse on what Jerry Tarkanian meant to the university, but also the city as well.
Yeah, I mean, the phrase running Rebels, that came from that time period, and his, pressured defense, that kind of led to the high-powered offense running and gunning.
I'm trying to think here, and correct me if I'm wrong. There's not a statue of any other sports figure in Vegas. They have one outside the Thomas and Mack.
Exactly.
Golden Knights don't have a statue of anybody. The Raiders, obviously Al Davis, but he wasn't around for the move. Not that there's a statue, but there's a, that's what the torch is for, you know what I mean?
Yeah. So, I mean, this really, I think it's an obvious answer. So once you think past him, if we're thinking in terms of, sports figures, athletes, executives, coaches, all those types of people, if you're constructing a Mount Rushmore for Vegas sports figures, Tark is front and center. But then after that, who do you give the 3 other spots to? So where are you at on that?
We're talking Mount Rushmore. I have Tark, and then my next one is Bill Foley.
Yeah.
You're talking about a guy who was the first to trust Las Vegas as a home for a professional sports franchise. A guy who took a shot on something that was kind of unknown. And you look at what the Golden Knights are today to this city and how they got started, everything that happened surrounding 1 October. How that tragedy happened just days before their inaugural game. And that season, year 1, they go on to make a run at the Stanley Cup in year 1 of a franchise. It's
unheard of.
You could write a movie script about it and they would throw it out because that doesn't happen.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And he said, Cup in 6, you got it done. I think you have to put a Bill Foley on a Mount Rushmore of Vegas sports figures.
I think the great thing here is that this is a burgeoning sports city, Vegas, but it's still young. We're still in our infant baby stage.
And that's what's so cool about being here.
Right. It's not like Pittsburgh where, this debate could go on forever and there's so many figures to consider. Here, the sample size is fairly small. So it's exciting stuff, and it's going to be one of these conversations that is discussed for years to come. James, real quickly, as we head the break, let's get our last response from the good people at home.
The greatest sports person ever in Las Vegas is undoubtedly Jerry Tarkanian. Everybody else is not even in the same picture. He was the greatest. He brought us national championships, and it was horrible what UNLV did to him.
All right, welcome back to SOS. So I had the privilege to talk to actor, entrepreneur, and Las Vegas local Mark Wahlberg. Let's take a listen to my conversation with him. We're at Flecha at Town Square with the great Mark Wahlberg. Mark continues to make his mark here in Las Vegas. He wants to bring the silver screen to the silver state. We love the family plan. We love the union. He's got a new great movie coming out soon, directed by Mel Gibson. We got a lot to talk about, but we're here at Flecha right now. This is Mexican redefined. It's got a lot of the flavors, the traditional Mexican flavors that we love, but it's infused with some fusion, some good kind of stuff. Tell us why this place is going to make a big impact here in Las Vegas and why people are going to love it.
Well, first of all, we wanted to build something that was really catering to the community and not necessarily the strip. So like 80% of our customers are locals.
Yeah.
This is a chef-driven concept. And I've been in the restaurant business now for 14 years with my brothers and my family. And so it's all about having the right people. So finding the right chefs, the right operators, and creating something that's really special. It really is about Christian and Randy and what we've created together. And so making sure that I have the right people in the right positions to create the best experience, whether it's, the little touches like the welcome marg when you come in, or the best ceviche you've ever tasted, the best street tacos you've ever tasted, the best lobster enchiladas. I mean, the food is amazing, and of course the entire customer experience, the service, everything.
And listen, we spoke at another place on the border a few years ago. You were talking about Flecha Azul and all that great stuff. Let's continue talking about some other stuff, because here's what I think is so interesting about you. You were just talking with the Nevada Independent. You're a local here. You moved here in 2022. let's be real. You were saying some really great stuff. You've spoken to Governor Joe Lombardo. You really think it's not a matter of when, it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when the silver screen comes to Vegas. Tell us a little bit about why it's such a no-brainer and the cohesion behind Hollywood and how that's kind of dying and how this would be a great new place for Hollywood 2.0.
Look, first of all, there's so many talented people here, both in front of and behind the camera. I made 2 movies already here. But with both of those movies, all that money went back into the community. You know, what I'm trying to do is encourage people like myself, if they're trying to pursue a better way of life, to move to Nevada, because that is my life and all the people that have come with me, life and lifestyle has vastly improved.
Right.
Since we've made that move. And so in order to do that, to get the people to come, the talent, the other talent outside of that, and people who are making the movies, writers, directors, actors, you need to have some sort of incentive here as far as, a tax credit. And look, with the amount of jobs that we'll create, the amount of excitement that we'll create, as you know, we've got sports here now. Vegas is the place to be. And so we want to make sure that all that money is going back into the community. So for me, it's not about Disney getting a discount. It's about people coming here. It improves the housing market, it improves everything. So.
And I think, you're a guy who demonstrates such you work with people so well. A lot of celebrities don't display that. They don't demonstrate working with people well. You work with everybody, and it's a great thing.
Well, I'm trying to connect with people. COVID really gave a lot of people an excuse to distance themselves from people. I am trying to connect with people, and more importantly, I'm trying to bring people together to connect.
And you're here in the community. People see you all the time. Now, you got a new thing. Let's check the municipal thing. You got a new gym concept. It's all about recovery, fitness. You're about fitness and faith. We know everything you do with Halo, but now EOS is partnering with Municipal to start this new gym in downtown Summerlin. Tell us about that.
So great operators. I wanted to create something that was super luxury, super high end, that really has all the bells and whistles, but also has the best and most serious training.
Yeah.
So with the recovery center, rejuvenation therapies, cafes, cold plunges, everything you can imagine, and a retail store inside, but the best equipment, state-of-the-art everything, and a place where you've got the best personal trainers, and you could come, and you're going to also be embraced in a way, and we're going to create a community like the 4 a.m. Club, where, we are going to create, there's a content element, there's lots of things happening that I think is going to change the face of fitness.
If we can be 1% as much as you are with your fitness regimen, that would be a good thing. So
trying to encourage people. It's so much easier to stay in shape than it is to get in shape.
Yes.
And you want to be around, you want to be able to move.
Consistency.
Yes, for longevity, consistency, and just a healthy lifestyle. Finding that balance of eating right, exercising, having your cheat meal, kind of going and celebrating your victories, right? And then
you
getting
post
back
that
after
on social. We see that all the time.
I want to make sure, and I'm trying to share, all the things that I've learned along the way, and try to help people avoid the mistakes that I've made in the past with fitness and training the wrong way, bad diet, things like that, and creating bad habits. I'm trying to just share with people my journey and my experience in real time.
It's a great thing. Let's talk a little sports for a second, because what I love about you and your career, you're constantly evolving and improving upon things. From just a movie standpoint, we remember The Departed to Boogie Nights to, The Fighter and the way that you attack those roles. But then we also love The Union and The Family Plan and all that kind of stuff, all the movies with Will Ferrell. So let's talk about how Tom Brady, the GOAT, I'm curious about this as a native Boston guy. That guy is the best quarterback of all time, correct?
I think he'd still go out there today and play, for sure.
Okay, so he's the best quarterback of all time, but me thinking, I work with Fox, he heads to the booth. There's going to be a learning curve, but we're all anticipating if he's the GOAT in one area, how can he maybe not be the GOAT in another area? And the way that he's developing in the booth. Tell us a little bit about that, because you've had to grow from Marky Mark to acting to business to all those things. So what's the advice you would give to him?
Well, no, look, you've just got to do it. You've got to be out there. You got to kind of figure out, because obviously he's got one of the great football minds of all time, about how you're articulating that in layman's terms for people at home so they can understand what's going on, and just being yourself. He's got a great personality. He's very funny. It's not. I wouldn't worry about being sarcastic. I think he's doing great. He'll be fine. What I do want him to do, bring Belichick here, lace him up one more time, Tommy. Throw the helmet on, and let's bring a Super Bowl to Nevada. Come on.
What do you think about Drake Maye? He had a great touchdown, the Hail Mary throw from the 7 to get them in the overtime. What do you think as a rookie? What have you seen from him? What do you like? What do you don't like?
I'm just worried that it's great to see that we have a mobile quarterback, but I'm also worried because that's really putting him in a risky, dangerous situation. I don't want to see him getting hurt, and it's tough because I still root for the Patriots. I still think they're going to win every game that they play.
Yeah.
And and I'm also comfortable that it's now rebuilding and they've got to take some time. And we had a great run. But, I'm just hoping that he doesn't get hurt and that he has the time to really grow and develop.
We got the Boston energy here. Brady, of course, now a new part owner in the Raiders, and we got a guy here from Dorchester. A Boston guy right here, Mark Wahlberg. He's really making that mark, that imprint here in our community. Mark Wahlberg, thank you so much. Welcome back to SOS, everybody. Mike Davis here with James Edward Barrickman IV. So now our next question we pose to everybody at home. What was the best sports moment of 2024? James, a lot of things to think about here.
There were quite a bit.
You did a lot of research. I'm curious what you think, because I think if we had to think about maybe not the moment, but the story of 2024 might be Caitlin Clark.
Yeah, 100%. I think she was the best story. Now, if we're asking what was the best sports moment,
yes,
I think there's something else that surpasses her. And to me, I think that was LeBron, Steph, KD, Team USA coming from behind a 17-point deficit to beat a Jokic-led Serbia team in the semifinals of the Olympics.
Yeah.
You think about that game and really that team. This was the first time and probably the last time that we're going to see LeBron, KD, Steph, 3 true icons of the game and icons for a generation of sports fans to lace them up for Team USA all at once. You think about that game itself, because obviously the other games, the France game and the gold medal game, those are great in their own right, but the moments from that Serbia semifinal game are things we'll never forget. Trailing by 15 or 17 at one point in the second half. We are looking at KD 3 balls and elbow jumpers, Steph's hitting threes to, for the go-ahead lead around the 4-minute mark. LeBron is being LeBron, driving through. Embiid was a huge part of it. It was, for a team that was, obviously the favorite, the U.S. is always going to be the favorite to win in basketball in the Olympics. Those moments, I think, from LeBron, from Steph, from KD, Embiid, those goats of our game, to put on the cape for Team USA all together for the first time and probably for the last time to overcome what seemed insurmountable in the moment against the best player in the world in Embiid.
Yeah.
For them to be able to right the ship and come back and claw back to get the W was iconic to me, something I think we're going to be talking about 20, 30 years down the line. Things like the Redeem Team and the Dream Team. I think we're going to be talking about this team right up there with them. And I think that's something that, was just awesome to see in my top moment.
Yeah, I have to agree. I think when you think moments, it's almost like snapshots, pictures in your mind. It's kind of like in the old days, what would be the cover of Sports Illustrated? And that image of Steph Curry that is now that famous picture in history from, going to sleep after,
right,
hitting all those threes. Because he was
was lighting it up.
He was lighting it up in that game. But prior to that, he didn't have the best Olympics,
No.
and this was his kind of first crack at it.
He got hot down the stretch. And just speaking of moments that are captured in time,
yeah,
that photo of Steph and LeBron face to face, forehead to forehead, screaming at each other, because they're so fired up that they were able to complete that comeback
Yeah.
against a really good Serbian team.
Yeah.
It's stuff of legend, iconic stuff that will stand the test of time. And you just think about who LeBron James is, who Steph Curry is, who Kevin Durant is.
Yeah, Embiid. I mean, these are all fixtures that
fixtures
never
of the game.
Yeah,
and for them to suit it up all together for the first time, it was amazing to see that magic all at once in real time, with something of such consequence on the line.
And Curry we hadn't seen in the Olympics.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
I mean, which is crazy. So it's a special moment. I think anytime there's a Summer Olympics, it's usually your moments are going to kind of probably come from that if you're reflecting on the year. I think beyond that, some of the other moments to consider, honestly, the whole Taylor Swift Kelsey Chiefs kind of situation.
You would put that up there?
Winning the Super Bowl, I mean, it was a big story of 2024, and kind of how.
So are we talking top story, or are we talking top moment?
To me, they're one and the same in some ways, but then there's also nuance. That's why I agree with you on the moment. I think, as I was just reflecting on the year, I think the Taylor Swift Kelsey thing is a major part of this. I think the Caitlin Clark moments and stories is a big part of this as well. But I think you got to go with Steph Curry, Team USA, and winning that gold. And, it's in a lot of ways the semifinal was the gold medal game.
Right.
After the break, we're talking Heisman. Stay with us. All right, it's sink or swim time right now on SOS. James, the Heisman Trophy favorites right now, there's a few guys really at the top of the list. For me, it's really a three-person race right now. It's Travis Hunter, it's Ashton Genty, and it's Cam Ward. I think those are the three guys that have to be in the conversation. Maybe Dylan Gabriel can sneak in there, but I think those are really the three guys. To me, I think what Travis Hunter's doing as a two-way player, in the same given game, this dude is, playing corner, grabbing interceptions, and then he's also like, a monster as a wide receiver, getting touchdowns, great amount. I mean, thanks so much for watching Sound Off Sports. To listen to the full show, make sure you go to our YouTube page, Silver State Sports and Entertainment.